A new game that came out on Friday just gone actually for the PlayStation 3 was the House of the Dead Overkill Extended Cut. That's it there. Now, House of the Dead. I haven't done any videos on this particular franchise yet, even though I do actually own nearly all of the ports that have been made available over the various years on the various consoles, and I certainly will do when I do get some more time. I'll go back to the real old stuff, and I'll do some sort of mini review videos and also gameplay videos of those games. But going back to this recent release, PlayStation 3 version, it's part of the franchise that was it's a Sega franchise that was originally developed by the famous AM2 arcade division. Started off in around 1997 with the initial arcade release of House of the Dead. I'm sure all you guys know about this, but it's a light gun game, and basically you go around just blasting the hell out of zombies, which is quite apt actually for this time of year, being Halloween. So it started off in 1997. It has seen various sequels in the arcade, and also various ports on the various types of consoles that have come out since 1997. And like I said, it started off on the Saturn. House of the Dead 2 was brought out in the arcade, and it was converted to the Dreamcast and also the Wii. House of the Dead 3 came out in the arcade, and that was converted to the Xbox, the original Xbox that is, and the Wii as well. It came out on the Wii. House of the Dead 4 was an arcade release only, so there was no port done of that game. And then there was a release for the Wii, I suppose over the past 18 months, I suppose 12-18 months, and it was basically a prequel to this. This is an extended version of that game, so it's House of the Dead Overkill that came out for the Wii. This one's Overkill Extended Cut, so it's slightly different. I don't know the difference between the two versions, between this version and the version that was released on the Wii. I suspect this has got more things on there, but like I said, I don't know much about that. So yeah, so it was released last week. As I said, it is a light gun game, so really to play it properly, or to get the best out of the game, you've got to, or you should really play it with a gun attachment. All the other consoles that I've gone through as regards to ports that have already come out for this particular franchise, they all had gun attachments that came out, you know, the old style sort of light gun. And everything up to the Wii, that was absolutely fine because they used a certain type of technology that worked with CRT tubes. Nowadays, with modern LCDs and HD consoles, is you can't use the same type of technology. So, for the purpose of the PlayStation version, you can play it with the control pad. It's absolutely fine to play with the control pad, but to be honest, it's not actually what the game's all about. You really do need a gun attachment really to play it properly. And to actually enable that on the PlayStation 3, you need to utilise the Move controller, motion controller. Now, up until actually purchasing this game, I hadn't actually purchased that type of peripheral for the PlayStation 3. I had tried it in stores on various games that have come out for the Move to see what it's like. And it is a good bit of kit, but I suppose really the games that are available that make benefit of that type of peripheral, in my opinion, aren't really hardcore. They're a bit, they're sort of family orientated, and it's one of the reasons why I never kept a Wii. I did buy one initially, but it wasn't really my game console, purely because of the type of games that it was, you know, it was really centred around. So anyway, PlayStation 3 version, you have to go out to get the best out of this. To use it with a gun attachment, you need to buy the motion controller. Now, I had to buy all that as part of this game purchase. It ended up costing me for this game and the gun and everything, it ended up costing me about £85, which is quite expensive really for a single game in effect, and I suspect I won't use the motion controller for anything else. I certainly haven't needed to use one up to now, but you know, it's worth having a blast really, having a try of it. So it's part of the actual motion controller for this type of game, and again, this is nothing new. I'm sure you guys know all about this, but it was certainly new for me. It's actually a motion controller, and I won't go into how all this operates, as most of you will know, and if you don't, there's a lot of information on the internet about it. Excuse me. So that's the motion controller, and to actually work with that you need the eye camera, or the eye motion camera, or whatever it's called, which is that device there. So that plugs into the USB on the PlayStation 3. This particular bit is wireless, so that's absolutely fine, and this is what actually picks up your movement of this, and it's that ball on the end, and basically that illuminates up to a colour, and it's actually picked up with this, and that then works with the software. Now, I suspect the keenly focused amongst you would think, well, that doesn't look much like a gun really, and you know what, you'd be absolutely right, it doesn't look much like a gun, but you can buy a gun attachment, and for a very small amount, I think it was about £5 this cost me. Voila, we have a gun, or something that resembles a gun. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not a gun. You know, you wouldn't. I don't think if you walked into a bank with this that you'd be able to hold a bank up, quite honestly. But it does what it needs to do. You know, it's got a trigger action on there, which obviously works with the motion controller, and it does work really well. I've got to be honest, it does work really well. So that's the gun attachment. I suppose a little bit about a game, or a very small amount about the game, before I show you some gameplay video. It may surprise you to know that the actual game has been certified 18, which I didn't actually notice in the shop, I must admit. When I picked it up and I went to buy it, I didn't notice that it had an 18 certificate on it. And when I got it home, I saw that, I thought, well, that's a bit strange, what's it got 18 on there for? When you load it up, you immediately know why it's an 18. Certainly the previous console versions of House of the Dead, so 1, 2 and 3, I don't know about the Wii, I haven't seen that one, but certainly 1, 2 and 3 that I've got already. How can I put it? You do get a storyline to it, and there's various cutscenes to it, but it's quite serious. It is quite serious. Now this game, because I have played it, it's held together really well. The production values of this game are far superior than the previous House of the Dead games, from what I've played of this one. It is sort of centred around an old style horror movie, and I suppose all I can say is the language is fairly colourful, and it's funny as well. There's some of the, I mean, some of these games you don't want to watch them, or I don't feel I want to watch the cut sequences, the video cut sequences. I just want to get straight to the game and start blasting or whatever I'm going to do in that game. And this game, you actually want to watch the cut sequences. It is really good. It is really good, and they're funny. They are out and out vulgar in parts as regards to the language that they use, hence why they got an 18 certificate, I suspect. I don't think it's down to the goriness of the game specifically, because that's a bit of a, well, you take that with a pinch of salt, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek. But certainly the actual storyline around it is pretty entertaining, I've got to be honest. So hence why it's got an 18 cert on it. Something this game has as regards to compatibility is that it is compatible with 3D. So if you've got a 3D TV set or monitor or so forth, hook up your PlayStation 3, you can see it in 3D. I haven't got that kind of technology here. I don't believe in using 3D stuff in reality. I think it's a bit of a stopgap until real 3D comes out, i.e. stuff about glasses, but that's another conversation. But what it does provide you with, in its real typical retro style, to sit with a sort of 70s, 80s horror film sort of background to it is that you've got the functionality within the game itself to actually switch it to the old style 3D, which is actually utilising these types of glasses, and you get 2 pairs of these in there. Now anyone that remembers what this type of technology used to look like will absolutely piss themselves when they see this on the game, because it is absolutely awful. It looks terrible. You do get 3D effect, but you've got a mix and match of red and cyan, so you don't actually get any true colours in there, and it really does look like an old B movie. It really does with this stuff on there. And actually what they've done in the game itself is the sort of style of the game is that you get, I suppose, like the old film effect. You know, you get interference on there and so forth, like with the actual film going around on a roller on an old projector. You get that sort of effect within the game itself, so not the cutscenes, but actually on the game when you're playing it. You know, it adds some atmosphere to it. So that's the little thing about it as regards to 3D specs. I suppose that's about it really, just a quick run through of actually what the game is about in its
What's up, motherfucker? They met as adversaries. What the fuck was that for? A monster made them allies. A secret agent, immaculate, intelligent, a rookie. They call him Only G. His identity, a mystery. You ever gonna tell anyone what that fucking G stands for? No. A playboy cop. Isaac Washington. Make him mad and he'll rip your balls off. I'm gonna rip your motherfucking balls off. Tonight, these unlikely allies will confront terror most foul in the blood-soaked halls. Papa's Palace of Pain. Be a courteous guest. By tomorrow morning, I'll have my motherfucking revenge. Papa Caesar will be dead. If we don't stop this moving outbreak by tomorrow morning, we'll all be dead. Because your first visit will be your last. Papa's Palace of Pain. Rated X. Shit, man! I think I slept with that bitch! fucking hate these songs.
Mutants, how many times do I have to tell you not to use the Z word? Table manners.
Mother, these guys ain't human. I've never seen this kind of crazy shit before.
Alright, so what's the game plan? You restrain the subject, and I'll lead an interrogation?
Fuck that, Columbo! Shoot to me!